Cardano, in my technical assessment, is setting up for a pretty explosive move to the upside. In this video, I want to show you guys what has led me to believe this. We are going to be predominantly taking a look at Cardano from a technical perspective, i.e. we're going to be diving over to the Cardano price chart, looking at where it is, where it's came from, and where we believe it is going. Now, you guys will remember that we gave a Cardano price prediction a number of months ago. We are going to be starting the video off there. We're going to be looking at how things have progressed, where it currently is, and I'm going to be showing you guys why Cardano is doing something totally normal, totally healthy, and is getting ready to set up for some pretty explosive upward momentum. So this is absolutely a video not to miss. We have given a number of price predictions for a number of altcoins, and we are going to see those through, including being the first people to come out and tell you guys when we are wrong on these price predictions. And since we gave our Cardano price prediction, things are following beautifully, and we are going to be showing you that in this video, including the current pullback that we are currently living through as we see a lot of volatility in the cryptocurrency market. This is all actually part of the plan, and we're going to be showing you that all in this video. We're also going to be looking at a number of examples of what Cardano is doing and what it typically results in. So we're going to be showing you examples of charts that are further ahead than Cardano, but are on or took the same kind of technical roadmap that we set out for ADA. We're also going to be looking at a number of ADA products, exchange traded products in Europe. AADA, which is 21 shares, Cardano ETP, exchange traded product, and also Bitwise, which has Cardano in it. We'll be talking a little bit about actually how we've seen it continued inflows in regards to Cardano from an institutional point of view. Then looking at ADABTC and ADA dominance, all showing some pretty bullish signs. So this is absolutely a video not to miss. Let's kick things off with recapping on the price prediction that we gave. I think it was just under 2 months ago. Now, we were looking at the possibility of a inverse head and shoulders being in play. And since we gave this price prediction, not only did Cardano break out and actually trigger this pattern, you can see over here we do actually have the pullback that Cardano is currently going through being included in the roadmap, which is very common. When you take a key level, you often retest it. When you trigger a pattern, when you break a whatever it is, grind line, neckline in this case for the head and shoulders, whatever it is, you typically come back and retest it. And that can be quite volatile in the crypto space and kind of get people shaken out. But what is important to understand is the bigger picture and the fact that this is very compliant, very respective of the technical roadmap that we set out, and the market is giving us positive feedback. So let's now dive over to the Cardano chart and show you guys where we are currently at. So this is ADA in all of its glory. Now, we were identifying a stage 1 base at this point. There's a bit of a double bottom in there. And you can see since then, since we made this price prediction, we were kind of forming this right shoulder. Couple of things to pay attention to in regards to a right shoulder. You don't want it to go below, or if the head and shoulders the right way up, above the left shoulder. And it hasn't done that. It respected it beautifully. And we actually did get a break of this neckline on volume. Now, this volume doesn't look spectacular. The important thing with the volume is the fact that it is 2x the previous session. So there is momentum behind this. So we'd identified a number of things, going into this. There was a bullish divergence. Since then, Cardano has really broken out into a stage 2. Remember, we like to break the market down into 4 stages. You can learn that if you become a Patreon. We also are setting up an Allincrypto Academy. Really excited about that, and we'll give more information when it's closer to the time. But since we actually broke out of this neckline and kind of triggered this pattern, Cardano has had a pretty harsh pullback with the rest of the market. And what I want to do is actually show you guys that this is totally normal and healthy by using a number of examples, not just in the world of crypto, but in the stock market. Markets typically go up and down in a similar fashion. They don't repeat exactly, but they often rhyme, and you can see similar structure in markets. You've got things like Dow theory, stage analysis. They all identify this and help you guys make money as investors off the back end of it. And that's what we're trying to do here. So very compliant. This is total normal and healthy. And remember, this technical pattern that we have is going to see Cardano in our assessment, just like we laid out in the roadmap and the price prediction that we gave 2 months ago. This is going to see a $2.10 Cardano. Now, we did also talk about how Cardano could potentially get to $7, but there's a lot of if, buts, and maybes there. Right now, we're working with this head and shoulders that is giving us that $2.10 price prediction. And what Cardano is doing today is very normal, very healthy. We're going to highlight that and highlight a number of examples of exactly this, all resulting to the upside based on similar patterns and kind of price action, but this is kind of the pullback that Cardano is going through. I don't think this is going to be too much short-lived. At what point is this entire pattern invalidated? Well, for me, it's if you run this low here, if you run the low of the right shoulder. So do mark that down. That would be a run back to 46 cents. We wouldn't want to see that. That would invalidate our broader thesis, and we then need to see what came after it. So there's a number of ways that this can fail, but until it does that, you get on the side of the trend. Remember, we're bullish on the overall market. We've got a macro thesis and everything in between. And a lot of sort of technical reasons to be bullish, including the actual Cardano price itself and the chart itself. So if we look at MicroStrategy, it did a very similar thing. You can see a bit of an inverse head and shoulders here also. When you broke that on volume, you then came back and found support in it. Very important you don't run what is the right shoulder in this point. So right shoulder, left shoulder, and of course your head. You break, and then you come back and you find it as resistance. And you've got to allow a bit of nuance. You know, things don't perfectly play out to levels. Sometimes they do. We can show you some examples of that. Sometimes they don't. Okay, and since then, the head and shoulders target that we had did get hit, and you can see where the price actually interacted. This is exactly what we think is to come for Cardano, ladies and gentlemen. And we think this event of actually taking this neckline has now triggered the direction that we think, or the pattern that we think Cardano is in, that's going to see it get to that $2.10 mark. So one swallow does not a summer make. We don't just want to show you 1, 2, or 3 examples. We want to show you multiple so that you guys can kind of have a little bit of peace of mind, I guess. You know, crypto, I see a lot of people making mistakes in crypto. One of the things I really see is impatience. And also, I see people getting too suckered in with the news of the day. Ignore that. Focus on the charts. What the charts are is a representation of what people are doing in their money. Big players typically move the markets, and we are trying to hunt them. We are trying to spot the footprints in the sand, and we think Cardano has all the DNA of a chart that's going higher. Not only that, we have a technical target in a pattern that's already triggered. So we've also got the likes of Injective. You can see what it did, albeit not a head and shoulders, a double bottom pattern. You can see once it broke its key level of significance, so this is the double bottom neckline. We are in a double bottom, or a head and shoulders neckline that we triggered. You can see it actually dipped back below it, found support before then. An explosive move happened, and pay attention to this, because once Cardano finds its feet around here, the move that comes on the back end of it is going to be much the same as what MicroStrategy saw here, Injective saw here, Amazon saw here. So again, head and shoulders. Remember, we're some of the few people that have been bullish on Amazon, despite everyone telling us not to be because Jeff Bezos is selling. We're saying, no, we're technical traders. We go on the charts, not on what people are saying, because people can say anything, guys. And this is our kind of anchorage, our map, our blueprint of things to come. So you can see, again, inverse head and shoulders, you break. This dipped slightly below the neckline. Excuse me. And this is exactly where Cardano is today. And it's got the next little leg ahead of it coming. We think Amazon's going to $263. You know, if you don't believe in technical analysis, do become a subscriber, guys, because we will convert you. The next one that I want to show you is actually a Cardano product. So a Cardano ETP that's actually in Europe. It's facilitated by 21 Shares, which is ARK Invest, which also facilitate a Bitcoin spot ETF. It's why we think that Cardano will eventually have its own ETF. You'll have baskets of ETFs, like what Bitwise offer with BITW. Of course, they don't offer that in the UK yet, or the US, sorry. You can see break on volume, you come back and you retest. Now, we still have a higher target for this 4-ADA, and we do think that gets met, and you're getting very close to it. Remember, we were looking at all this pre-break. Very common. You're seeing a common theme here in regards to what charts do once they break out of key levels of significance. The next one that I've got for you is Bitwise, which is the top 10 crypto index fund, which of course Cardano is a part of. I do think there'll be an ETF of this in the United States. You can see break, come back for a retest, put your toe below it, just like what Cardano is doing today before you find that support. And remember, all of these charts were respecting the lows put in before them. And that is what we think. You know, we know at what point we're wrong because Cardano will take that low out. A little bit of interesting information. So there are institutional holders in regards to Cardano that are buying through the ETPs. This was CoinShares' recent report. And you can see actually Cardano saw inflows when the likes of Solana saw outflows, Ethereum saw outflows. Cardano is still seeing inflows in regards to kind of products and more institutional grade apparatuses. If we also look at Cardano versus Bitcoin, this is at support. We do expect this to bounce, and this is showing a lot of signs of life, having sort of invalidated the downtrend that it was in, putting in higher high and now a higher low. At what point are we wrong? Of course, when you run the low and you lose that support. but this actually looks ready to rock and roll. There was a small inverse head and shoulders that we were tracking that actually perfectly gave us the target for this. You can see where it ran into, and now it's having a bit of a pullback. We do think this picks its feet up. You can see it's somewhat squeezing. Very rough draw there. And of course, we've got Cardano total market cap. So this is the market share that Cardano currently holds. We now also think that this is in an uptrend, and of course, it's important that you don't invalidate that low. So what we've done here is we've shown you a number of examples of what Cardano is currently doing on other charts to show you that it's very healthy. That's very in line with our overall technical assessment. You are now in a pattern that we believe is going to see Cardano run to $2.10. It's important for me to get on in times of volatility and kind of quieten that down and say, stop listening to the news and what's on Twitter. Twitter is both the best and the worst place for information. Focus on the charts. There's a blueprint and a roadmap set out for us. There's lots of confluence in regards to what we're looking at technically, what we're looking at macroeconomically, and we're really compiling it all together and giving you that picture. And Cardano is very much doing the same thing that MicroStrategy did here, that Injective Protocol did here, that Amazon did here, that AADA did here, and that Bitwise's BITW Top 10 Crypto Index Fund did here. And they all resulted after this period of kind of coming back and retesting and consolidating a bit in some pretty significant upside. And we believe the same thing is now on the table for Cardano. So that's really all I've got for you in this video, guys. If you've enjoyed the content, as always, a like is greatly appreciated. So is a comment. Don't forget to subscribe. If you want to check out the Patreon, there's a link in the description. Go give us a follow over on Twitter and check out our website, allincrypto.com. That's all I've got for you. Always a pleasure. I'm going to love and leave you on that note. Have a fantastic Thursday.